Okay, so today we're going to be talking about the biggest fall-offs in Opbr history. Now, this is going to be a video of, units who, as like I literally just said, why am I repeating this? But units who have fallen off really hard. And without wasting time, the face of Opbr fall-offs is going to be Garp. Now, Garp, the second this dude came out that we saw his trades previews, we're like, oh my goodness, we are saved. The ultimate Roger counter. It's over for Roger now. And yeah, for like a good 1, 2, 3 months, Garp was at the top. He was the perfect unit. Everybody wanted him. Everybody wanted to have him on their team. And then, we started to realize this dude is a bit niche. Now, what I mean by that is Garp's traits are so focused towards attackers and captains that pretty much anyone else is going to destroy him. And even now, to this day, even attacker captains like Dofi, Luffy, Luffy, really old unit. Luffy Taro, of course, I could have mentioned Luffy Taro, but he's built to defeat defenders, so that doesn't really count as much. But all these attacker captains who Garp is meant to be really good against, and he really just doesn't do well against any of them. And let's not even go into non-captain units, because he's like fodder to them. He's so bad against them. And so it didn't take long for Garp to fall off. I think he started to fall off around the time Chopper and Robin came out. Around that time, he started dropping off from people's #1 list for defenders, and we started to realize, man. And honestly, Garp didn't even qual Roger that much. Like, he didn't stop him that much. Obviously, Garp still wins the matchup most of the time, but like, you still saw Rogers in every single game. Like, to this day, Roger still hasn't stopped being used a lot. Like, so yeah, everybody was kind of wrong when they thought that this dude would stop Roger from being used a lot. And yeah, so Garp right now, I don't even think he makes top 12 at defenders. And yeah, the dude fell off really quickly too. Very surprising drop off. And honestly really saddening, because Garp is a really cool character on his own. And hopefully one day we get a God Valley Garp, and that would be really cool. Maybe an attacker. I feel like an attacker would last longer than a defender, even if he was niche towards a certain characteristic. And yeah, so Garp takes the #1 spot, and #2 is a unit that I don't think a lot of people even realized or noticed fell off of it, and fell off fast. And that was gonna be God Usopp. Now, yes, I'm not saying God Usopp is bad, but falling off doesn't have to mean you're a bad unit in particular. But God Usopp did fall off for a while. From when he released until Akainu dropped, this dude was the most annoying unit in the game, undisputably. And like, chasing normals, a skill 2 that was bugged as hell, because that shit, I mean, it is still bugged. You'll think you dodged it, but the thing will still hit you, and that would be the most annoying thing you ever felt. Skill 1 feels like it does a metric ton of damage, and sometimes just one-shots you, and you're like, what the hell is this unit? And then Akainu dropped, and he became fodder to Akainu. I almost said trash, and that completely goes against what I literally just said, that he fell off, but he's still good. Yeah, so if you have an Akainu on your team, Usopp is useless. That's it. You will have to play him like a rat, like he's meant to be, but a rat that straight up does not attack at all. Because Usopp used to be the god of rats, attacker rats, where he could just, be a rat, right? Like, and just spam his normals, spam far away attacks. But now, if you even get in a 5-mile radius of an Akainu, you're getting one shot by Unigama Guren, which shreds Usopp's lives. So Usopp has 3 lives, of course, but Incinerate is way stronger than a Flame, which is why Sabo wasn't much of a counter for Usopp before. But Incinerate destroys Usopp's lives and kind of makes him the extra lives useless in front of a unit like Akainu. And yeah, obviously then you have units like Pell, who shred his lives as well, Dofi, who you just shouldn't try and fight, Frankie, who literally is basically a counter from release, because Frankie reduces status effects, so kind of a on release counter. So Usopp's skill 2 didn't work, and of course Usopp's not gonna be doing much damage to Frankie because he has extra damage reduction against runners. And yeah, so Usopp is taking the number 2 spot. And number 3 was kind of hard. You know, with Bounty Rush, units kind of take a little bit to fall off. So yeah, number 3 is actually a 2 to 3 way tie. No, I say 2 to 3 because the third option for number 3 is kind of in the middle of falling off, but still pretty good, pretty solid. And yeah, so I'm gonna just start with the number 1 option for number 3, and that sounds so confusing. But number 1 option for number 3 unit who's falling off is going to be Big Mom. Now, Big Mom had it rough from the beginning. A unit who relies on shock in a game who loves pumping out units immune to shock. So obviously, Bounty Rush loves their Luffy units. So Luffy, I mean, like, it was over for Big Mom from day one, pretty much. She had her time. She was really good. She countered Blackbeard, which is why everybody was so scared of back then. Blackbeard used to be an absolute monstrous menace. Even Shanks couldn't stop him, and they were released pretty close to each other. And yeah, so Big Mom came in with her invincibility skill, made her a very good counter for Blackbeard. And then, yeah, obviously she was doomed to be a failure. Well, not a failure, but doomed to fall off because Luffy units, right? And not long after this, not long after everybody was figuring out, oh, Luffy units are gonna destroy this woman, Roger dropped, right? Roger, it was over. Like, it was over. It was literally over. Not only is she blue, but she's a unit who uses a status effect. And Roger, when he uses skill 2, nullifies status effects, right? And that completely just threw Big Mom off every list. She was still top tier back then, in my opinion. She was still pretty good, but you were not going to be seeing the kind of results that you used to get from her. And then finally completely sealing off the deal was the release of Oni Luffy and a green Luffy defender. I mean, what else does that say except Big Mom counter, right? And yeah, that was pretty much the death of Big Mom. Though surprisingly to this day, Big Mom is still a sort of usable unit. You're not going to do much with her, but you can still do something. So yeah, but I don't recommend using her. And yeah, so Big Mom takes a spot for number 3 fall off. Honestly, you can make a debate for her being number 2 because I think she fell off faster than God Usopp. And yeah, so she's taking number 3 for but yeah, you can definitely debate number 2. And within the time of me talking about Big Mom, I think I've narrowed down the top 1 to 3 to actually top 2 for the number 3 spot. So the tie for number 3 spot of the units who've fallen off the most, this is going to be really controversial. And yeah, honestly, disclaimer, before I mention this character, when I say fall off, it takes a long time for units to fall off in general. So this unit is still good, like, he's still solid, but he has fallen off because he used to dominate the game, and to see him like this low now, like in the meta, to me that is a fall off. Now, number 3 is going to be Oni Luffy. Alright, I get it. Yes, Oni Luffy is still a solid defender. He's still in the top 10, in that area of the top 5 to 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He's still there. But Oni Luffy, of course, if you've been playing since he dropped, when originally people thought he was mid, as people usually do during previews. They did the same thing to young Dofi. So because Dofi didn't have heals, Dofi was kind of classified as bad on release, until they realized that Dofi was actually a monster and the closest thing we had to a Neox Bounty Fest. And yes, the same thing happened with Luffy. People thought he was mediocre, a reskin of Luffy, blah blah blah. And then he came in, he was basically an attacker but a defender on steroids, and took away attack buffs, so actually made him a solid counter for Roger. And yeah, he took over the game for a very long time as the number 1 defender, fastest defender who's not Kinemon. Of course, Kinemon is always going to be the fastest with his normal attacks. But yeah, so Luffy, when he released, was actually amazing. There was really nobody who could, like, say, counter him fully. You could obviously beat him with a few units, Even Roger could beat him sometimes. Odin too. You can make the argument that Zoro had a chance against Luffy. But yeah, most units didn't really have much chance. Obviously, there's more than 3 that could beat him. But nowadays you have units like Akainu, Dofi beats him, and yeah, this dude isn't really defending against a lot of the meta attackers. Jack exists, right? Golden Week is just going to calm him and then dip. Obviously, Golden Week shouldn't really be mentioned in this argument because Golden Week does that to anybody who's not Frankie, of course, because Frankie is the best defender. But let's not talk about that. And then you have Law shredding him. Law coming out just a few months after Luffy, or the next month. I think I'm forgetting my time frames. And then you have Kid, who is just a better defender overall than Luffy. And yeah, only Luffy really fell off to me. And I don't think he's going to get any better from here, because I think we're going to start getting into that time frame where we're going to be getting more reds. Let's see if the next Bounty Fest proves me right. But if we do continue to get these broken reds, oh, what am I even saying? We just got a buffed Sabo. Damn, okay. Well, yeah, so that's not looking good for Only Luffy either. But if we're going to keep getting these reds, Only Luffy's just going to keep going down. But he's going to have that benefit of having a really cool art. So he'll live on in people's profiles as their art icon. So yeah, well, I think just like anybody else, like I said, it's going to take him a bit to fully fall off. But for now, he has fallen off from where he was originally. And I know this is going to be a really controversial take, but that's just what I think. I know a lot of people have different definitions for units falling off, but yeah, he's fallen off from where he once was, but he's still a solid unit. So that's going to be my top 4 fallen off units. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys found this entertaining. I was about to say educational, but I don't know how this could be educational at all. And yeah, if you have any other candidates for units who've fallen off hard, let me know in the comments. I'll probably think of a few after this video is finished. I'll be like, damn it, why didn't I put that in? But yeah, I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.